Operator error. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. It is February the 14th. We have Krystal Yates here to talk about negotiations. Close the deal for what you work. We're very fortunate to have Krystal here today. So welcome to the group, both of you that are in person and online. And thank you for the reminder to record. All right. So we are recording this event and we'll post it later on the Career USA YouTube channel. So you can view that in the future. So by participating in this event, you give your consent to use your name and picture, but don't worry, the comments in the chat window do not appear in the recording. Okay. So Matt Keelan and I are the interim leaders of the group. I'll introduce myself a little bit more later when I talk about my offering. But anyway, I'm retired IT, and so I volunteer helping job seekers, particularly with interviewing skills. Good morning, Matt. Say hello. He waved.
Either that or create echo.
I got you. Oh, the microphone's over here, right? All right. So just to let you know that Jeff Morrison, we are so pleased to have him join us today. While he was in this group some years ago and the leader of it left, Jeff's story is that he thinks he scratched his ear or something, and next thing you know, he's now leading the group. And so that's happened many years ago, since 2007. So he's the subject lead. And you will not begin to understand all the work that Jeff does for this group and stuff that's going on in the background and all the administrative stuff and things that he does for this. And in 2008, he created the DFW, careerdfw.org group. And that was primarily to look at the DFW area. And in 2012, he launched careerusa.org. And that's for people, outside. So you really should be looking at both of these groups. As you go to careerdfw.org and you'll click on something, it'll automatically take you back and forth to Career USA and look at resources and information. I always tell people, if you're new in the job search, the first thing I want you to do is go to careerdfw.org. That's how important that website is and how much information is there and how much you can find there and how much where you can find elsewhere. All that is there. So, and since 2017, he's a member of the PIT crew as a panelist. So just remember that this is also a networking event. Anytime we get together as a group, whether it's online or in person, we are networking. And so I suggest and would like you to turn your camera on and make sure that your full name is displayed in Zoom. All right. So we'd like to see your smiling face. Jeff has some of these that he can provide you. Send an email to txjmoore@yahoo.com. And he'll send you this, and you can put a hole in it and stick it over your camera on your PC, and it'll remind you to always smile. All right, turn on your video. So the agenda today is going to be, as always, success stories, any job leads, if we got any of our recruiters online today. Matt, our 30-second, we maybe can make these 20-second introductions. We need to kind of be brief today. I'll help with that. Then we have our committee reports with the interview success workshop, the PIT group, and the career tip of the week, followed by the main event. So success stories, anybody landed? Maybe one person that's in New Mexico or someplace out west has landed.
You mean me? I think I announced that last week.
Yeah, but if I'd remembered this, I would have had a picture of you with a teardrop on it saying best of success, a slide for you today, since you've been such a contributor and such a positive person in helping with job seekers in the different groups you've had, and even leading the LinkedIn group on Tuesdays. So Patty, we are sad to see you go. Glad you got that position. Pray for you driving 1 hour one way to work on the days you got to drive. Okay. But
Thank you.
Right. And you can introduce yourself, in a minute. I do have one. I can't remember Ed's last name. All of a sudden I mentioned to in the PIT crew. Now Ed he came through the PIT crew. He came to my workshop that he did for interviewing skills. He's had 3 jobs in the last 3.5 years. CEO change, downsizing, acquisitions, mergers, all that kind of thing, all those business reasons, And so Ed got laid off from his last job. And the next day he met with a friend of his at lunch. he started his networking. And he knew somebody at FedEx who was a VP. Got in touch with the VP. The VP actually wrote him a reference letter. And with that resume and the letter, went to the senior VP. 2 interviews later, he's hired. So he was out of work for a week, maybe 10 days or something like that. His message is network, network, network. We preach that all the time, saying that. So congratulations to Ed. Do you want to say something, William?
Yep, and Diane Bettnar landed and for everybody who wasn't here last week, she is starting on Monday.
Yeah, she works at the Container Store. She's
Yeah.
running the Container Store now. It's up in the Plano Allen border. And for those of you that are in this area, drop by and see if she'll give you a discount.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations to Diane. All right. Anybody else out there? Okay, so we'll do our online introductions. And so for those of you that are online in the Zoom chat, if you would put in your name, the position, your email, LinkedIn, phone, and city. Your email is critical to put in there if you want to get some information. I'll hit upon that later. 2 or 3 target companies you're looking for. And as a networking thing, where's where I can help others in networking to help them connect to companies. Okay, so while you're putting that in the chat, I don't think I shared my sound, so I'm not going to play the music. But you go ahead and be doing that, and we'll start with those that are in the room, so in person. So the way we handle that, there's a microphone up here. You'll get a formal line down the aisle here. Look into this PC because that way you'll meet everybody and see everybody online. They'll see you. And here's your outline for introducing yourself. I don't see anybody jumping up at once. Come on down.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, let me give you an example. With permission from Jules, who does this out at South Lake. So I'm gonna plagiarize Jules as the sample. My name is Neil Armstrong. I'm looking for a job at SpaceX. I need contact, I'm looking, job. I need contacts at SpaceX and I have contacts at NASA. My name is Neil Armstrong. So that's how it goes, okay? Microphone's up there, William.
Ladies first.
My name is Leslie. Is this on? I don't hear me.
Click the button.
Well,
Where's the button? There's the button.
you have it.
You can put this on your resume that you can handle microphones.
Okay. Come on.
Be a little bit so everybody can see you. Yep, right there.
Yeah, look into that camera.
My name is Leslie Benny Hamilton. I am a producer. I'm looking for that role in an advertising agency. I need contacts at where? Sorry, right. I need contacts at Netflix, at the Lifetime channel and Sci-Fi channels. And I have contacts at Wallow. My name is Leslie Benny Hamilton.
Good job.
Let's see, yep, looks good. Morning, everybody. My name is William McLaughlin. I'm currently seeking a business analyst role, currently looking for contacts at CoreLogic and Dave & Buster's. Again, my name is William McLaughlin. Thank you and happy Valentine's Day.
Good morning and happy Valentine's Day. My name is Michael Garber. I'm looking for a position as a senior IT program manager. I need contacts at my target companies, which are Cisco and Constellation Energy. And I have contacts at IBM and Kyndryl. My name is Michael Garber.
Thanks, Michael.
Good morning. My name is Kevin Klimzik. I'm looking for a position in either customer management or project management. I have contacts at PepsiCo. I worked there for a long time. I'm needing contacts in either any kind of CPG company or I'm kind of open to the industry. And again, my name is Kevin Klimzik.
Thanks, Kevin.
Hello, happy Valentine's Day. My name is Sean Toy. I'm a supply chain director. I'm looking for contacts in CFS brands. I have contacts in Medtronic and Alcon Laboratories. Thank you. My name is Sean Toy.
Good job, Sean.
Good morning, my name is Penn. Like what you write with it, an extra N, Hoyt. I'm a director of marketing in the B2B space. I'm looking for contacts at T-Mobile. I've got contacts in a variety of industries, including Deltek and a lot of SaaS companies. Again, my name is Penn Hoyt.
Thank you, Penn.
Morning, I'm Steven Sulkin. I'm a director of process improvement. I'm targeting value capture, and I can help with contacts in Baylor Scott and White Health or Collin College. I'm Steven Sulkin.
Thanks, Stephen.
Good morning. My name is Kimberly Taylor and I am in property management and I am looking for an assistant property manager role. I'm open to any companies and I don't have any other information. And again, my name is Kimberly Taylor. Thanks.
Thanks, Kimberly.
Good morning, my name is Sean McAdams. I'm an information security executive seeking a chief information security officer or deputy CISO role. I've been looking for contacts at any company that's doing interesting technical work. So technology company, robotics, defense, so forth. I have contacts some places, but mostly at Raytheon Technologies. My name is Sean McAdams.
Thank you, Sean. We got two Seans in the room.
My name is Jack Fothery. I'm looking for a virtualization engineering position. I've done a lot of data center. I have extensive experience in the physical data center and the virtual data center and cloud. So I'm looking for any position that has IT requirements for those positions. So I don't have any particular company in mind, but I do have contacts at Brinks. The ones that, you know, the armored car people, Fujitsu and Fiserv. And again, my name is Jack Fothery.
Thank you, Jack. Are we missing anybody?
Good morning.
Whoa.
Hot mic. My name is Jason Irish. I'm a financial services professional, most recently in the pension and 401k space. I am looking for contacts with Fisher Investments or other financial services companies. Again, my name is Jason Irish.
Thank you, Jason. Marcia?
Yeah.
Sorry to shame you to introducing yourself. Just trying to find you a job.
Marshall's always got good comments and helpful to job seekers. We're glad to have him here.
Morning, my name is Marshall Gully. I'm normally in supply chain and logistics management. Although I am kind of trying to branch out a little bit, I currently could use contacts with the Collin County law enforcement, like Plano 911. I'm looking for a position in the Fusion Center for Collin County, run by the Collin County Sheriff's Department. Try to utilize the certification. I do have contacts around town in the logistics space. If I can help you in any way, let me know. And I'll be more than happy to help.
The name again.
Marshall. Marshall Billy.
Good morning. Good morning.
Jason Millwright, certified broken heart. I'm looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yes.
I have contacts in too many faces. I'm looking for love. I'm Jason Millwright.
Does this to me yourself every week.
Jason Millwright, narrative illustrator and graphic design. I don't know if I have any contacts. If I have any contacts, I don't know if I have any contacts either. I'm looking for love. Jason Millwright.
Thank you,
He's
Jason.
also a part-time stand-up comic.
And why don't you introduce yourself too?
All right, moving online. Jeffrey Aubert.
Can you hear me? Good morning, everybody. This is Jeff Aubert. I am a customer-facing technical sales engineer. I'm looking for a sales engineer, technical account manager type role. I need contacts at TT Electronics and Worth Electronics. I have contacts at Cadence Design Systems and Synopsys Design. My name's Jeff Aubert.
Thank you, Jeff. Graciela.
Good morning. Sorry, excuse my cold. My name's Graciela Custer. I have a part-time digital marketing position. Will be seeking a full-time position. Target companies include Alpha Graphics, Allegro Marketing, Open Moves, Agency Creative, and Cloud Campaign. Again, my name is Graciela Custer. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you feel better. Jeanette?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeanette Bailey. I am looking for an administrative support position. This week, I got a phone screen scheduled with Solis Imaging, but I'm also targeting right now municipalities, the city of Plano, the city of McKinney. If you have any connections there, please let me know. And boy, howdy, am I grateful for this meeting.
Let's feel the enthusiasm. Thanks, Jeanette. Jody.
Hi, my name is Jody Lance. I am looking for any position in the talent development space, such as instructional designer, LMS administrator, or training coordinator. I need contacts at BNSF, American Airlines, or Lockheed Martin. I do have contacts at Southwest Airlines, and my name is Jody Lance.
Thanks, Jody. Vitaly.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Vitaly Platonov. I'm looking for position of supply chain manager or logistics specialist, preferably in automotive. I need contacts in Caterpillar, Texas Instruments, and Lucid. I have contacts at Hyundai Motor America and International is a truck manufacturer. My name is Vitaly Platonov. Thank you.
Thanks, Vitaly. John Zenik.
Hello, my name is John Zenik. I'm an operations director. I need contacts at TELUS Digital, it's TELUS, or Microsoft. And I have contacts at PwC, or that's PricewaterhouseCoopers. My name is John Zenik.
Thanks, John. Kathy Dixon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kathy Dixon. I'm a senior technical writer with extensive experience documenting hardware, application, and system software and processes and procedures. I am looking for actually project work, not necessarily a full-time position. I am industry agnostic. I have contacts at 7-Eleven and Circle K in the product management groups. Kathy Dixon, senior tech writer.
Katie Calloway.
Hi, my name is Katie Calloway. I'm looking for a senior accountant role. I need contacts I'm looking for larger companies in Plano, McKinney area, like Toyota or PepsiCo. I have contacts at Denbury. And once again, I'm Katie Calloway.
Kelly Brawler.
Hi, my name is Kelly Brailer, and I am looking for positions as an executive assistant, employee engagement manager, or event planning management. I need contacts at Goosehead Insurance, Top Golf, and McKesson. And those are my target companies. I do have contacts at OneSource Virtual and IRPA. And Retirement Planners of America. Again, my name is Kelly Brailer, and happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. And sorry for butchering your last name.
It's okay. Everyone does. It's no problem.
Michael Wilk.
Happy Valentine's Day. My name is Michael Wilk. I'm a senior lead software systems and program quality engineer. I'm a veteran with top secret clearance, focusing on the aerospace and defense industry. My target companies include SNC, Collins, Encore Wire, and Raytheon. My name is Michael Wilk.
Michelle Hawk.
Good morning, everyone. This is Michelle Hawk. I have 15 years plus of experience in accounts receivable cash posting, as well as 3 years of experience in dental surgeon insurance verification. I'm looking for target a target company of CVS distribution in the Irving location. I'm looking for someone in the revenue department. Other than that, right now I'm in contact and companies are releasing their freezes right now. I am interviewing right now with my previous employer again. He is now hiring again. So I'll wish myself good luck on that one, especially when I just got the medical billing and coding certificate. I'm hoping that they give me a chance to train me in their position that's open. But anyhow, happy Valentine's Day and good luck, everybody.
Miguel. Good morning, everyone. My name is Miguel Castillo. I'm looking for a VP or a director finance position, mostly in the FP&A, financial planning and analysis space. Need contacts at Honeywell, Collins, and Toyota. And I have contacts at Amazon and American Airlines. My name is Miguel Castillo.
Miguel, which Toyota are you specifically looking for?
Well, there's a financial side, but there's also Toyota as in the the manufacturing side that I could fit in either one of them.
Okay, because when you look up Toyota, you'll see the 5 different organizations on LinkedIn. So I'm gonna look at financial services and manufacturing. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you, Walt. Muthu.
Good morning, all. I am Muthu Kumar Ganesan. I'm director lead in IT infrastructure, cloud data center, and IT service delivery roles I've been playing. I manage a client IT infrastructure, reliable, scalable, and provide a service delivery on time. I'm currently looking for a IT infrastructure, data center, project program manager as a director, associate director roles around DFW and across US. Target companies, any product service based consulting companies in the banking sector, fine with that. And I am Muthu. Thank you.
Patty.
Hi, everybody. I'm Patty Bashy, and I am a retail senior client lead at dunnhumby. I don't need any contacts. I do have contacts at Nielsen and Kantar, and my name is Patty Bashy.
Why don't you need any contacts, Patty?
Because I landed and start on Monday.
Congratulations again. Thanks again for all your help with all things Jeff Morris. You've been awesome. And
Thank you.
How long were you in job search, Patty?
Well, I would say 13 and a half months.
Okay. And how did you find this particular role?
Well, that's the interesting part. I do network a lot, but in this case, it was a blind apply. Didn't know anybody at the company. I didn't target my resume. And I got through all the rounds and I had a case interview that I had to do that was on the spot. So, yeah, I think it was all my experience. My resume spoke for itself. So
It does happen. It does happen. All right. Congratulations, Patty.
Thank you.
Rosina.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I am your Career Tip of the Week host. I'm looking for a position as Senior Talent Acquisition Partner or Senior Recruiter, and I need contacts at Delta Dental, Unum Dental, MetLife, ADP, USAA, TIAA, or Ericsson. I have contacts at a variety of different companies, so as I hear them, I'll reach out to you directly. And again, my name is Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Partner or Senior Recruiter.
Thanks, Rosina. Roshan Lewis.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Roshan Lewis, Product Management VP with expertise in financial tech services, fraud prevention solutions. I'm looking for similar roles, which is in product development or product management, either a senior director or VP. My target industry are payments, fintech, fraud solutions, banking. I'm requesting contacts this week for NBC Universal, Samsung, FICO, Capital One, and PayPal. Again, my name is Roshan Lewis. I missed another one. I do have contact at MasterCard and Verizon, and there's a small company called One Main Financial. So if anyone is interested, I can make some introductions. Thank you very much, Roshan Lewis.
Hey, Sarah.
Getting coffee. Syed.
Hey, I'm Syed Parvez Raja, and I'm working as a software engineer in RPA automation and conversation AI. And I'm looking for similar roles on automation RPA and conversation AI, or even technical product manager. I have contacts at AT&T, and I'm looking for contacts at telecommunication, like Verizon, T-Mobile, or even any consultancies. And I am Syed Parvez Raja Abu Bakar.
David Watchers. Getting coffee. Did I miss anyone online?
Hi, I missed earlier. My name is Saroj Misra. Hi everyone. Good morning. So I was previously working as a software engineer, and now actively looking for a software engineer role, and also the backend developer or Python developer. I'm looking for those kind of roles, and I'm targeting from startup to big companies in DFW, including all over the USA. And thank you again. My name is Saroj Misra.
Anyone else?
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is David Ramirez. I'm an IT support analyst, and I'm looking for contacts at American Airlines, the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, and Caterpillar. My name is David.
Anyone else? All right, back to you all.
No, we got one more to go.
Oh, Matt Keelan, ITBB Director. No targets this week. Have contacts at Trey Becker and in Granville. Matt Keelan.
Okay, thank you much, everyone, for participating. Hang on while I work with my clicker. It clicks, but it doesn't advance. All right, we'll do it another way. Anybody on our line of recruiters online for job leads?
I actually have one.
I'm playing with my clicker. There we go. It's back.
So I just had one come across my email at Pete Hernandez was sharing this to.
Too loud.
Oh, sorry. Pete Hernandez was sharing this to everybody that there is a project manager. This is for a project manager role. It's this would be through R2 Technology. So Rick Martinez is the owner there, and his client needs a strong project manager to partner with an implementation team project manager, and will work with the director to manage day-to-day issues and risks, drive outcomes, not to be a project historian, set up meetings, workshops, set up user acceptance testing, help with change management. It's a 6 to 9 month contract. Anyone with a healthcare background is desired, but other candidates will be considered as well. So
okay, thank you, William.
Reach out to
Rick Martinez is a recruiter. He runs R2 Technologies, and so he has that job listed that he's looking for help with.
Yes, his website is r2now.com. Can also contact him by phone at 469-223-6956.
Thank you, William. Appreciate that. Any other people online, Matt? Our recruiters? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the interview success workshop. one of the things that I do is I volunteer to help people with their interviewing skills, and I do it through the Interview Success Workshop. It's a free workshop, and it's focused on selling ourselves. We all agree that we are in a selling situation. So what are we selling? What are we trying to sell? How do we sell it? And I contend we're selling who we are, what we do, and how we help. Our personality, our characteristics, our experience, our knowledge, our skills, and how we combine those to bring value. People hire us to achieve things. They don't hire us just to do the work. So they want a nice culture match, good fit there. They want a nice, yep, looks like you can do the job. That's usually the screening purpose. Everybody that passes the screening says, yep, you can do the job. Now we're going to continue on. And so how did we do that? Well, I do it on, let me get to that slide here. So while we're doing a learning interview, you have to be registered. So there's a QR code there for you to my Yahoo address, or just send me an email to my Yahoo address and say, here's where I learned about you. Here's where I heard about it. I'll be interested in getting registered and getting dates for the Tuesday 9 to 11 timeframe to participate. Right now, I'm beginning to wait list because I'm into April. I think I have maybe one position open left that's in March. So it's getting very busy there. So go to my About section on LinkedIn, and it'll tell you about the workshop and give you the details and information and more stuff you can learn about that. The main thing about it, it's a learning interview. It's not a mock interview. We're just here to learn. And so we may as well have some fun while we're learning at the same time. So I call it learning without squirming. And what do you say is the price you must pay for blowing the competition away? It's easy to see how excited you'll be. There is no cost. It's free. So I'm one glass. Okay. Would you like to talk a few words, Matt, about the pit crew? All right. I know everybody loves to hear my voice. So what about the pit crew? What is that? The practice interview team meets on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock here in the church where we are actually. Well, if something wants to go wrong, let it go. So it's a Christ United Methodist Church. And so it's in person on the first, second, third, and fifth Wednesdays of the month. And then for those that are not in the DFW area, we still do I say we, I'm a panelist on that along with Matt and some other people in this room, on Wednesdays online. So the idea of the pit crew is send in your resume and a job description to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com. Address, say I'd like to get registered. You go down to the www.dallaspitcrew.com website, and it gives you a lot of resources, information, and all that about the pit crew. I recommend that you come learn how to sell, learn the fundamentals of selling, so you can get yourself into that selling mindset when you're in your interview, and then come to the pit crew. Now, how many practice interviews do you need before you gain confidence? More than one? More than two, three?
At least 3, I'd say.
Okay. Well, we had a contact, or a person who was interviewing for a position. He came through the pit crew 7 times. He came to the workshop 4 times just to get the fundamentals. So he just kept at it. He got that. It took him a year to get the job because he talked at Lockheed. And when he announced his landing, he said, the interview at Lockheed was much easier than these. So, we go through the learning period to accomplish that. Yes, sir.
So there's no openings on that till April, correct?
I don't know all the openings for the pit crew right now. If you go to www.dallaspitcrew.com, it will give you some schedules of where there's openings, and all that information is available out there. But I know that there's a lot of people registered for that. We can do more than one interview at the pit crew. Sometimes there's 2 or 3. We have panelists that are also, most of them, looking for jobs too, but volunteer. And so, but even with that, it's getting quite crowded. So send your email.
Question as well.
No, not a question. I'm just saying get on it because there are cancellations. People get jobs. So it can rotate up rather quickly. When I did it, I thought it was going to be about 90 days out. Ended up being only 30 days out. So when I got it, so don't let the buildup of people on it stop.
Right. Okay. Penn is giving us advice to say, doesn't matter how long it is out there, get on the list, get on whatever it is, because there are cancellations, there are changes. And so you still might get in earlier as that. So thank you, Penn, for that comment. All right. It's time now for the career tip of the week with Rosina.
Thank you, Walt. All right. Again, good morning, everyone. Well, this week's career tip of the week is AI job search tips, 10 AI tools to help you land your next job. And this article is by Kiera Abamonte she works at Zapier. So the power of AI in your job hunt. Guess what? AI is your new job search assistant. This article explores how artificial intelligence, AI, can assist you with various stages of your job search, from crafting a compelling resume to practicing for interviews and negotiating salary. This allows you to focus on what matters most, which is showcasing your unique skills and personality to potential employers. So the top 10 key AI-powered job search tools for job seekers. The article recommends 10 types of AI tools to streamline your job search. So first, AI resume builders. Tools like Kick Resume, Teal, and Resume Worded help you to create professional ATS-friendly resumes. They can generate impactful bullet points, summaries, and handle formatting, saving you significant time and effort. And instead of starting from a blank page, you get to you get a solid draft to personalize. Second, AI job matching tools. Platforms like Talent Prize, Resume Nerd, and Sonera are AI to match your skills, experience, and preferences with relevant job openings. This targeted approach helps you to discover opportunities that you might otherwise miss. Third, AI resume optimization tools. Tools like JobScan, Teal, and Advanced CV analyze your resume against specific job descriptions. They identify areas for improvement and suggest keywords to ensure your resume gets past the applicant tracking system and into the hands of recruiters. Fourth, AI cover letter generators. Kick Resume and CoverDoc.ai can generate personalized cover letter drafts based on your LinkedIn profile and the target job description. This significantly reduces the time spent on this critical yet often tedious task. Fifth, GPT Google Sheets add-on. This add-on enables personalized networking at scale. By inputting recipient information, the tool generates unique outreach messages for each person, making your networking efforts more effective and less generic. 6. Zapier workflows. Zapier automates repetitive job search tasks. For example, it can automatically draft email responses to recruiters, update your job search tracking spreadsheet, or add interview reminders to your calendar. This automation frees up your time and mental energy. 7th, AI-powered interview coaching tools. Tools like Interview Warmup and Huru simulate real interviews and provide feedback on your performance. This allows you to practice your answers, improve your body language, and build confidence before the real thing. 8th, AI-powered negotiation tools. PayScale and other similar tools analyze salary data to provide insights into fair compensation for your experience and location. This empowers you to negotiate effectively and confidently. 9. Zapier Central. This experimental AI workspace lets you build a custom AI job search AI job search bot. This bot can tailor resumes and cover letters to specific job descriptions and even automate the application process, taking your job search to the next level. And then number 10, your brain, which is the human element. While AI is a powerful tool, it's crucial to remember that you are a human applying for a job. Using AI to enhance your efforts, but ensure your application materials reflect your authentic personality, skills, and career goals. AI should augment your human touch, not replace it. And then the importance of humanizing your application. This article stresses that while AI can speed up the job search, it's essential to maintain a human touch. Your application materials should speak to you or who you are and what you're looking for. Authenticity is key to standing out from the crowd, especially as more and more applicants utilize AI tools. Ultimately, it's your unique skills and personality that will land you the job. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this week's Career Tip of the Week. Again, AI job search tips. There are 10 AI tools to help you land your next job. And I wish you guys a wonderful and happy Valentine's weekend. All right, take care.
Thank you very much, Rosina. Appreciate all your support and help with that. There are actually these tips of the week are posted on the Careers UA channel. You can go to the section on career tips of the week, and these are posted, and there are a lot more details involved with what she's given a summary of information. So there's good things there. So you can go out there and seek those and take a look at those. So they're located on the careerusa.org YouTube. I mean, the careerusa.org website. All right, so it's time for the main event. So for those of you that are on Zoom, if you want to ask a question, just raise your hand, okay? Or you can enter your question in chat. We will be monitoring the chat as well. So that, and we'd also love for you to turn on your video so that we can see you and so that our speaker can see you as well. Be glad to have you participate and engage in this. So right now we're going to introduce Krystal Yates. Krystal has been in the HR arena. I'm not going to tell you how many years, okay, Krystal? But you know that somebody used the term excessive experience, which I haven't heard that term used before in their introduction. And so I think Krystal fits, in that category, but she's been working with job seekers in a lot of different areas of the job for several years now. Now she published her book, The Insider's Guide to Your Dream Career. So in 2025, she released an updated version if you're interested in her book. So she's a member, SHRM, all those HR terms and organizations. She's the founder of the EBR HR Experts. And I will buy lunch today after this if anybody can tell me what EBR stands for. Matt, since you're sitting next to Krystal and have discussed with her, what do you think it stands for? Expect better results, right? Expect better results. So that's it. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I'm sure that she will. So if you'll come up and we'll do some microphone changes and get your presentation up.
Okay, and I can be louder. I just didn't want to kill anybody there. Okay. Good. Good. Okay, perfect. Thank you for having me. This is my favorite topic. And I love having the opportunity to talk about it because it is so important and it is so often overlooked. How many people here negotiated your last job? A little bit fewer than I normally get. Okay, I know it's hard, right? Because what if they don't want to negotiate? We'll talk about that. Why is it important? And y'all, this is interactive. Y'all have to talk to me here. But I've got some books for people who want to talk to me.
Mike. No,
one in every room. Because it's your best chance to get your best deal, because once they get hired, you don't have a chance to get your better deal. So get it up front and nail it and run from it from there.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I have been doing some version of this presentation for about 12 years. And every so often I go back and look at the statistics, and they're always somewhere around 70%. 70% of companies expect you to negotiate. So if you're not negotiating, you're leaving money on the table, right? That's big. It's very big. Pen, I'll get you a book. Yeah. 73% is the newest number. I just actually pulled that last month. And statistics also tell us that 85% of people who negotiate get something. So why wouldn't you? And the reason most of us don't is fear of the unknown, fear of the interaction. All right. Nobody's going to walk out of here complete negotiation experts, but what you are going to walk out of here with is some tips on how to have those conversations in a more comfortable manner. Did I see a hand?
Yeah.
Where's the?
One of the things that I've seen in the market lately that I haven't really seen in past years is a lot of employers are now posting a range, partly because in certain states they're required to. In my experience, not trying to sound arrogant, but because I have so much experience, I usually am offered at the very top of that range. So if it's say $23.50 an hour to $25 an hour, they put me in at 25. Am I missing something? Should I still be trying to push this a little bit?
Not necessarily, although, and we'll dig into specifics on it. It might not be a change in dollar amount. It might be if you're coming in with extra things that they need and you have, there might be some room. You have to be very careful pushing above their range though, simply because they're posting it, right? Job seekers for years have been saying, please tell me what you're paying. They are. And then I'm going to tell you from experience working with business clients, candidates come in all the time, very early in the process and say, well, I need to make twice that. Well, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. It's disrespectful. It's a waste of time. 25 to 26, and maybe not such a big deal. 26, and here's why, definitely not a big deal. But more importantly, we're not just talking about salary, we're talking about full compensation. So maybe you're going to negotiate a hiring bonus. Maybe you're going to negotiate, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. Maybe you're going to negotiate an extra week's vacation. There are other things that you can negotiate besides just flat dollar salary. So you still want to think about it. Although one of the things I'll talk about at the very end is know when not to negotiate too. So did that help? Did I give you what you needed? Good. Okay. No?
We
Okay.
have another hand up online.
Yes.
Miguel?
Go ahead, Miguel.
Yeah, I think Krystal, I was going to add what you just said at the very last, which is, you can negotiate not just the base salary, the total compensation, and that includes many things like, vacation and other, I'm going to call it perks. So that's what I was going to say, and also important when you do it. You're not going to negotiate at the beginning. It's more likely than not you'll say that you do fit in the range if that's the case. And later on, as you learn more about the business, about the job, because the job descriptions tend not to always be very accurate, and they learn about, or you learn about, the value that you bring to the job, then you can at that point negotiate. And of course, at that point, we will all assume that they like you.
That's exactly right. The further we get, and we'll talk about that. One of the hardest things, and if you guys don't walk away with anything else, I want you to walk away with, don't talk money until the company brings it up. Push that conversation as far down the road as you can. And that is terrifying and it's frustrating. But just like I just said to you, if we're having a conversation on our first phone call, when I say 23 to 25, I'm really thinking 23. You're thinking 25, right? But when we get further along, I'm more and more and more invested in you. I've got an employee right now. I like to pick on her and she knows I do this. I have her full permission. I actually offered her a couple of dollars above the range I was offering because she came in with skills that I hadn't even considered. I was doing those things at the time. I needed an admin and she said, well, I can do this too. And I went, awesome, here you go. And I offered her more than she asked, but which was still less than anyway. So there are a lot of factors involved. Yes, sir.
Yes, I don't know if Michael. Take care of my family.
Thanks, well. How do you deal with a situation where the very first question out of the mouth of a recruiter is, so what's your expected salary?
We're gonna get there in just a second. I think, and that's the most important part, is knowing how to deal with it. So the high answer is know your range. And the easier answer is, of course, we always never want to be the first one to talk, right? So I'll get to that and I'll tell you exactly what to do. And I've even got a script for you guys if you want to take a picture of that here. Yes.
Job market right now open to negotiation.
The job market is always open to negotiation. The job market is not the nicest it's been. It's pretty rough right now, but there's never a reason, generally, broadly speaking, not to negotiate. Because this is about you, not the job market. This is about you, what you bring to the table and what your worth is and what's important to you. So I want to start by talking about the types of negotiation, and then we'll get into how to talk about it, because this is important. This is not a negotiation for a used car. There are actually dozens of types of negotiation. If you go online and start researching negotiation, you go down this massive rabbit hole. There's all kinds of terms for different types of negotiations. I've broken it down into two types that I think are important. There's transactional and there's relational. Transactional, that's what I call the used car negotiation. I need a new car. I don't really care if the dealership loses money. I want the best deal I can get, right? I'm walking in, I'm getting the best deal possible. I'm walking out. I may go there again, I may not. There's no relationship. This is not that type of negotiation. In a relational, this is a relational negotiation. This is something both sides have to walk away happy, right? We may get this massive win over on the employer because we're better at negotiating than they are. But how long is it going to take for them to go, this doesn't feel even to me? A month or two, right? If they don't think they're getting their money's worth out of you, and vice versa. You may get totally out negotiated by an employer, and 6 weeks in, you're like, I'm working way too hard for what they're paying me. A relational negotiation is one where if both sides aren't happy, it's not going to work long term. There is a book, and I'm completely blanking on the name. It was written, somebody's going to know it. It was written by an ex-FBI agent, and he talks about compromise, right? Compromise is one of the things I want you to avoid in a relational negotiation. He talks about, I'm taking my husband out for Valentine's dinner tonight, and he wants to wear his brown shoes, and I want him to wear his black shoes. Compromise would be one brown shoe and one black shoe. We've both lost, right? We've got to find a win-win. Maybe he gets to wear his brown shoes in a different outfit. I don't know. But it's about finding something that works for everybody. So the first thing you have to do when you're thinking about compensation negotiation is shift the way you think about negotiation. This is not an adversarial conversation. It's a collaboration. How can we find a way to make both sides happy? Does that make sense to everybody? We good with that?
Is it Chris Voss?
It is Chris Voss. Thank you. I used to have a pic. Thank you, David. Yes, that is the best negotiation book I've ever read. So there are different ways we should handle it depending on when we have this conversation. It's essentially going to be the same, but every step has a little bit of a nuance to it. I'm seeing salary asks on applications now more and more, right? And you can't put zeros and you can't put X's and you can't skip it, right? So what do? This is terrifying, and I get a ton of pushback, but I promise you I'm right. Go ask your favorite recruiter person. They're using this as a screening tool. Put the lowest number you would be willing to take, period. Nobody wants to do that, but you can always come back with more later. And you should probably come back with more later. The lowest number you'd be willing to take.
You say that, you mean, wait for the mic.
I just want to ask on that, should that number be, when you say the lowest number, like 100, just an even number, $100,000? You should be 100% willing to accept that, or thinking I can negotiate a little bit on top of it?
You will probably be able to negotiate more on top of it. Be prepared to negotiate more on top of it. This isn't necessarily, so, and we'll talk about different numbers in a minute, but you're gonna there's really three numbers that you should have in your head. One, we all should have a budget, and I know we all do that religiously, but we should know what's the minimum I can reasonably take, right? And that's not the, I've been out of work for 6 months budget. That's the, I put 10% in savings and we go to the movies and buy the large popcorn every week. And you know, this is how we live our lives. Hopefully, and that number is completely independent of any research you do. Then you should do some research and you should have a range, right? That if all the stars aligned and it was a perfect job and it met 100% of my non-negotiables and 85% of my negotiables, what's the minimum I'd be willing to take, right? A lot of us would take less for work from home, right? No commuting costs. They pay 100% of my insurance. They pay for my certifications and my continuing education. They do all these wonderful things, right? I'd take less for that than I would for the job that I have to drive to downtown Dallas and yada, 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 right? And we all have different requirements there. So you're going to put that lower number. So let's say your range is, I'd take 100,000 if everything were perfect. I really want 120, but 130 is my target. Okay. You'd put the 100. This gives you the opportunity to have the conversation. So I'm going to pick on my employee again. If she had put the 130, I wouldn't have even talked to her. She put the 100 and I went, man, she's cheap. I talked to her. I found out what she did, you know, and actually offered her 135. Right? Because I went, oh, you're not just doing that. You're doing.
Yeah.
So I know it's hard to throw numbers because they're all going to be a little bit different. Does that help? Perfect.
Krystal, this is Paul. I've heard some say that you could, in a area on the application where you can write comments, that you can say things like, something like, based upon what I know now about the job and understand, my salary requirements are based on that information, or something like that.
Sometimes that's not an option.
Okay.
So generally speaking, this is, if they're asking on the application, they're screening you. It's one of the things they're looking at before they're going to call you. Just don't put 80 because you know you're not going to be willing to take 80 ever and you're wasting everybody's time. But you could certainly explain it if you want to.
Okay.
But
What if
maybe
the question is, what were you making in your last job? Can you put down a number and then say, this is the number that I have is based on my requirements? That's what.
I actually recommend you never, ever share what you were making at your last job. It's none of their business. And it should have zero to do
But
with.
I don't know if it's on the application. Did they ask that?
They shouldn't. They shouldn't. It's a terrible question.
I agree.
It is illegal.
It is illegal in
Well,
many areas.
yeah, there's some states that have it illegal, but that doesn't mean the people know it's illegal.
That's very true too.
That doesn't matter.
So,
Okay. I mean, if you're some people are like, I don't care, I'll share. And if you want to, there's no reason not to, but it's never apples to apples.
Right.
And when you start doing that, and I've seen employers try to do that. Well, I can make a better judgment. You know, I don't want to give them a pay cut. I want them to be happy, blah, blah, blah. We've got all these reasons in our head, but it's not apples to apples and it doesn't work. Right? What if I want to semi-retire and take a massive step backwards? Right? What if I've gone from going to school full time and working a very part-time, low low-level job and now I'm going in back into a professional position. Those are two extremes. But there's always something in between.
It's great to hear your
Yeah.
perspective. Thank you.
Yeah. If we could ask the question. What? That's okay. The questions usually we're gonna find we're 90% of the way when we go.
So, one of the things that I saw on online application I filled out, it had a pay range that they offered. And during the application process, it asked, is this pay range acceptable? I said, yes, it's acceptable. And then it asked, what is your target range? It's in the pay range that I just said is yes.
So let me tell
So
you,
I put negotiable,
that's
but-
probably okay if they allow that.
but I'm not sure if I got kicked out right away because I got a rejection letter the next day.
Pretty quickly. It might have been that, it might have been something else. Do you know why they ask that? Because people don't read. Everybody in here, y'all are already going further than most job seekers do. Most people sit on site online and hit the easy apply and don't do anything else. And then they get frustrated. Last time I posted a job, and it's been a couple of years, I've only got 4 employees. Last time I posted a job, posted the pay range, I posted the location. First 50 applicants weren't even in the state of Texas, and half the ones I talked to wanted twice what I was offering. I'm sure you are well worth it, but this position is not. And it's frustrating for employers. So what they're doing is they're weeding out people who aren't paying attention. I'm working with a client right now. We're trying to hire a very entry-level data entry person for her. And we're getting people with 15 years of leadership experience. She's posted the job range. They're asking for more money. It's a tool to see who's paying attention and who's actually interested in the job. Because we're getting hundreds of, now hers is entry level. We're going to get more than higher level. But
Negotiable, or put in a dollar amount. Which would you recommend?
I would probably put a dollar amount in. Just to show that you're somewhere in the game. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know that's not exactly what you want to hear there, but and it's really scary to tie yourself in because they often won't let you put a range. Which is why we hope we wait to discuss it until we have a phone call, at which point we can give them the range. And we can tell them my range is between 100 and 130, and they're going to go, man, that's an awful big range. And you go, yeah, I don't know enough about the job yet to give you any more than that. That's exactly right. And actually, that's exactly what you say. And the longer you talk to them, the more that number comes down, right? I've got to do a little driving. Oh, but it's got all these other things, great things. And then somewhere there, boom, now when you're having the real conversation, you go, you know, I think I need 120 for this role. And you know, you've asked for something that's going to work for you, and they can make a decision on that. So again, it's really hard to put it off. If you can avoid the question, do that. Hey, you know, thanks for asking me. I don't want to waste your time any more than you want to waste mine. This doesn't work on the application, but it works in any conversation. Can you tell me how much you're paying? That's assuming it's not on the job posting. Or sometimes we see these job postings where they say they're offering anywhere between $55,000 and $300,000 for the role, right? Those are fun. So ask them for their range. Sometimes, yeah. It's never been easier. And y'all talking about AI, I've been playing with the free version of ChatGPT, and I play with the free version on purpose because not everybody pays for AI. If you ask it what your broad job title in DFW pays, it'll give you a relatively good range. Now you need to follow that up by asking where it pulled that data and go and pull that specific data so you can back that up with where it came from and why. And some websites offer based on years of experience, some offer based on where you're at. everyone comes in at it just a little bit differently. So you want a couple of different sites, but it's never been easier. Okay, so we talked about the application, lowest number you're willing to take. Screening call, you're going to give them that massive range. I don't know enough yet about the job to give you anything better, but I'd love to keep talking and we can dig in. Again, during the interview process, same thing. Here's the difference. When you've engaged in the interview process, it's time to start talking about your non-negotiables. Okay, what's important to you? And it's different for everybody, and it's different for everybody at different periods of our life. You know, I like to talk about when my daughter was 4 months old. This was a very long time ago, but when my daughter was 4 months old, I was approached for a different job. And I actually took a $10,000 pay cut because money was not my priority at that point. I left a job where 60 hours a week was the norm. You had to have an excuse to leave work on time. If y'all ever had one of those, I liked the job a lot, but I wanted to go home to my baby. I moved 20 minutes closer to home and I was allowed to work from home when I needed to. Now this was way pre-COVID, right? It wasn't normal in my industry at that time. So what I negotiated was flexibility, right? In lieu of pay. It was great. Would I do that now? Absolutely not. But I'm in a different phase of my life, right? So what's your non-negotiables? One of my non-negotiables right now would be my continuing education. It would also be my volunteer work. I'm on a couple of boards that I leave in the middle of the day to go handle. I own my own business. My boss lets me do that right now. If I went to work somebody else, I wouldn't want that to change. What are your non-negotiables? What's important to you? I know remote work is a huge one right now, or hybrid, but really, is that non-negotiable, or are you looking for flexibility? Only you know the answer to that. Is it a certain dollar amount? Is it certain benefits? You know, more PTO, more so you can go travel, so you can be with a partner or spouse. What's important to you? And don't let anybody else make those decisions for you. Although do discuss it with your family. That could matter. What were you making at your last job? That's one I hear a lot. And really, again, I recommend we don't tell them. It's none of their business, and it's a bad way to determine what they should be paying you. That amount isn't relevant to this position. However, I'd love to hear your range. Love to hear what you're paying. Use your words, not mine. But I found if I can give you a script that you can turn into yours, it becomes much easier. Now, here's the key. If you are not in the habit of negotiating, practice this in front of a mirror until it comes naturally. Because 9 out of 10 times when I work one-on-one with a client, we talk about this. So like, this is great, I got it. And they go to their first negotiation and they go, I gave them a number. You get nervous, you blurt out what comes naturally. So make it your words and then make it come naturally. Now, sometimes they'll actually give you the range, right? And that's, we've all been told that, right? Don't speak first. Well, guess what? Sometimes if you're really interested in the job, you have to be the one to speak first. So be prepared to speak first. We've got our range, right? If they insist, no, I need you to tell me a number before we move forward, you're going to say something along the lines of, based on the research I've done, and I hope you've done the research, the market rate for this position is X. With my experience, I'm hoping to make somewhere between Y and Z. Or here's my favorite question. What's the least amount we can pay you to do the job? Anybody ever been asked that?
What's the least amount of work I have to do around here?
Now, somebody with my mouth, I would actually say that, knowing that they were either going to walk me out and that would be okay, or they'd laugh and go, let me rephrase that, but make it work for you. You know, I always like to lead every negotiation discussion with, you know, what your personal circumstances are. and you do what you've got to do that's right for your family. However, don't let fear or desperation allow you to skip negotiation. Okay? What happens if you try to negotiate and it's one of the 25% of companies that don't negotiate? What do y'all think is going to happen? That's exactly right. For those of y'all that didn't hear that, they'll say this isn't negotiable. This is our best offer. And you can either take it or they won't say take it or leave it, but you'll have the option to either take it or not. The only time, there are two reasons a company would completely yank an offer from you. Number one is if you double down on them. Well, I couldn't possibly take that. Well, I'm so sorry. So don't do that. You just politely negotiate. Or if they're an absolutely terrible company, and I promise you there are going to be signs well before that. And again, do you really want to take this job? Now, sometimes there's just nothing in the budget. I'm sorry, this is the top of our range and this is what we've got to offer you. And that's when you can either go, well, let's talk about PTO, or do you happen to have a different budget for maybe a hiring bonus? Or, hey, I could actually take this if I could work from home for 3 days a week. Or, what about my continuing education? If you're willing to pay for my conference every year that happens in October, that might work for me. Or you go, you know what? I'm still really excited about this position and the 25's within my range. I'd be happy to take that. Whatever the outcome of that is okay. But they want you. They've invested just as much time into this as you have. You want them. They're not going to yank it just because you negotiated.
We have a hand up online.
Oh, yes. Miguel.
Yeah, this question, it still applies. It was a little bit more about the previous one, but in general, at a certain level of jobs, you'll have at-risk pay. And so your salary will be your base salary, and there'll be then, a short-term, long-term, compensation, maybe RSUs, so stock, etc. So when you're talking about all these numbers, from the beginning to, let's say, during the interview, etc., how would you phrase that when you're saying like, this is my minimum, this is my, etc.? Because obviously it's different to talk about your base pay, or do you only talk about base pay? But you need to know the total compensation, obviously, because that's your total worth. When
we're very early in the process, you're really only talking about base pay, because the rest of it, you don't have enough information to dig into the rest of it.
Right.
So you've got to judge where in the conversation are we before you start digging into the rest of it. And actually, that's a good point. I skipped completely over that. Sometimes it's profit share or stock options, and that's a great way to make up a difference in expected salary.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So the ideal question, if they're asking you anything but what are your salary expectations, try to redirect, because the rest of the questions are terrible. What are you making before? What's the least amount you'll take? Redirect. What are your salary expectations? Again, I don't know enough about the position yet to give you a good number. What range are you offering? And if they insist, it's the exact same answer as before. Based on my research, market rate for this position is X. Based on my experience, I'd like somewhere between X and Y. And again, y'all, please practice this. It's going to feel very odd practicing, but you're going to say it and say it and say it and say it until it rolls off your tongue. And then when you get in that high adrenaline, nervous situation, it's going to come out. It's going to come out naturally, and it's going to feel really good. And no high power negotiation skills needed. Now, I will tell you, I do have one trick, and I'm not a big fan of tricks and games. Excuse me. But one trick that does work, and it doesn't hurt if it doesn't work, is if you are negotiating in person or live, phone, Zoom, whatever, it doesn't work on email, repeat the number back to them and shut up. Count to at least 10 in your head. 100,000. Huh. Starting to get uncomfortable, right? We don't like quiet. People don't like pauses. I have seen this work more than once. It is not a guarantee. It does not work every time, but I've seen it work at least 4 or 5 times over the years where they come back and negotiate higher because you stopped talking. I even had a girlfriend who called me after a salary negotiation many years ago. She was in IT. Women were, traditionally making significantly less in that field. And they had made her such a good offer. Like, she was shocked. She repeated it back on accent. She said, I know you told me to do this, but I forgot. And I got so excited. She repeated the number back, and like, she's in her head going, oh my gosh, they're going to give me this much. And they came back higher. She wasn't going to negotiate. But I've actually seen it work when it's used intentionally as well. Like I said, it does not work every time. It's very, very hard to do, which is why I say count to 10 in your head, because that's how you're going to maintain that quiet. It's worth a try. I've never seen it backfire on anybody. Okay, how are we going to know what this range is, right? I'm telling everybody you've got to come up with your own range. And this is most definitely an art form. It is not a science, but it has never been easier. Here's some sites that you can use to do some research. And y'all, you need to pull a minimum of 2. I like at least 3 sites, because when you come back to have the conversation and they come in at 80 and you're like, well, my research tells me that this starts at 100. You can ask them, well, can you tell me where your data comes from? Because I can show you mine. Yes.
I did this as an experiment. And I was asking it, give me your sources and having it breaking it all down. And what was interesting is the number it originally gave me was very good. And when I got all the different sources, they were all over the place.
They will be.
So the actual number it gave me was more of an aggregate from multiple sources, and that was a good number, but the individual ones some were awful. Like, just absolutely, I don't know where they got those numbers.
Yeah. Which is why you want to pull from multiple sources, and feel free to weed out the ones that you don't like, but then at least you can come out. But you also kind of know where you're at in your career. Yes, sir.
One of the things I was looking at these sites, and I've looked at them, I know that sometimes, like for my job, the salary that I can expect in Texas versus California versus New York versus Chicago, and a lot of times one of the things I've run into, these sites will give me a range, but it's not really region specific. Is there a way to drill into these and get to that?
There's very expensive software that companies use that exists that do that. No. If you're trying to do that, maybe try to reach out. This is where LinkedIn is a great tool. Find people in those roles, in those areas, and ask them. Don't ask them what they make. Ask them what somebody in their organization, in their role, might expect to be offered. We do it that way. I like Glassdoor for that reason, because it drills down by company and by role, and sometimes by region. And the reason I list multiple sites, and by the way, the state of Texas does this as well, and they break it down by region. The reason I like to break it down is because different levels, different industries, different fields have different data on different sites. And you can find better data on salary.com for position A versus position B. And so you've really, again, it's an art form. It's not a science. You've really got to dig in and do your research. But I promise you, an hour or 2 worth of research is going to get you some really good information. And then you just got to be ready to, but when they back it up and say, well, why is your number $20,000 higher than mine? You go, here's the sites I looked at. Here's what they said as far as averages. Here's the number of years experience I have. And so this is how I landed on this. Good. I know. I wish I could tell you, everybody here, this is how you do it, and it's an easy calculation. It never will be. So Google or any AI should pull that for you. Now, what I found with the paid ones, I pay for Copilot. I know there's a ton of different ones. They'll actually pull the links up for you. So that's fun. ChatGPT just gives you an average. And then you have to go back and say, where did you find this? Okay, we talked about this, so I'm going to go past this relatively quickly. So you should have 3 numbers. Number 1, what is the minimum I can afford to take? You do this independent of your experience or what you think the role is going to pay you. This is a personal budget. If you've got a partner, if there's multiple incomes in your family, then you sit down doing it based on doing that together, you know, based on the other incomes in the family. But what is the minimum I can afford to take? Do that before you do your research so you don't accidentally overlap. And then if these 2 numbers, if that second number is not higher or at least even to your budget number, that's probably a financial advisor conversation. But hopefully that number's a little bit higher or the same as. And of course, the maximum. What's the maximum I can reasonably ask for? You know, I'd like to ask for $350,000 a year, but HR just doesn't pay that. So it's never going to happen. So know your limits and be realistic, right? When I'm hiring a receptionist and they want $110,000 a year, I'm like, you know, again, I'm sure you are fully qualified to make that much, but it doesn't make sense. And you've got to show good business judgment. When you don't, you are probably burning a bridge with that organization, especially when you're doing that early. Okay. What else is on the table? We've touched on this. What are the position expectations, right? I talk about when my daughter was little. Number 1 expectation for me was you get to work 40 hours a week versus 60. Boom, I'm in. Again, wouldn't matter so much to me now. Are you using all of my skills or half of my skills? Are you giving me a stretch or a training opportunity? Are you going to offer me an opportunity? I'm an itty bitty company. I have horrible benefits. But I like to hire in entry level folks and I'll certify them. That's a huge, huge benefit to the right person, right? So they might not have really great standard benefits, but they know after working 2 years with me, they're going to come out certified and they're going to be able to go get something else that does pay better benefits. And they know I'm okay with that too. What's the company culture? Here's something I've learned since I've been working with job seekers. There are toxic work environments out there, don't get me wrong. But you know, 80% of the time, what we call toxic is just the wrong environment for us. And yet we don't consider culture when we're job searching. We should be. It's the number 1 thing. It's the number 1 reason people get fired because they're in the wrong work culture. It's the number 1 reason people get mad and leave because they're the. Now, sometimes there's no control, right? Our boss changes and we went from the best relationship in the world to the worst. But what is the right culture for you? And how closely does this culture does this company you're talking to fit your ideal culture? That's important. I might take less money to be happy where I'm at. Yes. This
Question was, how do you ask that and get that information?
This should be a conversation you're having, obviously, before the negotiation conversation. This should be some of your questions at the very beginning, right? What questions do you have for me? But you can simply ask, what does the company culture look like? What are their priorities? How do I know when I've been successful? Think about which pieces of the culture are most important to you and craft questions around that. Or really, let me back up to those non-negotiables we talked about. What are the things that you're not going to take a job without? Make sure you're asking questions around those very early. And you're asking in multiple ways to really get at the heart of the matter. It's not always easy. Culture is so, cultures can be difficult to define. Cultures are difficult for companies to define sometimes. So you really have to dig, but you can. figure out what's important to you. I talk about the 60-hour a week organization. Again, I was fine with it until I had a kid. One of the questions I might have asked was, how many hours a week or how many hours a day does do you expect your employees here? You got to be careful about the way you ask that because you don't want to sound like you don't want to be there, but right. How many hours a week are we working on average? How many of those are in office? How many of those are flexible? How much after hours availability is required, right? There are ways to ask it without sounding lazy. So figure out what matters. Yes.
So a lot of the folks that are in the networking groups are at the senior end of their career. They're experienced senior folks. I can see it in every room. Okay?
Yeah.
And a lot of us have been out for a while. So in this negotiating of the other stuff is, okay, so let's say you are entertaining a position that's being offered, which is a lower level position. So the range is, the range for that position. You got to be, how can you approach that and look at that situation? Because hopefully you're not in there for very long. You want to, looking for some opportunity to advance yourself out of that position. So you're not going to negotiate salary, but you might be negotiating something else that can help you in the long run. Can you give feedback on that?
Again, you've got to focus on what's important. So maybe you're going to talk about what does a typical career path in this organization look like? I work with lots of folks who are in transition because nobody's left in 15 years and their boss is going nowhere. That's not a bad thing, right? It's not a bad reflection on their existing organization, but you have to know, right? Hey, we would promote you in a heartbeat if the position became available, but that's probably not going to happen. So ask about movement within the organization, ask about opportunities. If not a direct level promotion, are there other departments or areas that could open up anytime soon? What does advancement look like? What does a career path look like in this organization? Do you promote from within? Some companies just don't. Most do, but some don't. So is that am I answering what you were asking? Okay. There's so much gray area. Online, yes.
Yeah, sure. Actually, I have a question. I'm not sure I missed this part. So initially, you're applying for that job. The range they gave something like example 100 to 200. So then, shall I mention 150? Then go with the latter negotiation, or can I keep the top of it something 190? Then go for negotiation. What is the right strategy to keep the number on the paper? Before passing through all the interview stages, because first need to clear all the stages of interview, then the HR final, right?
So if this is at the very beginning, I'd go lower. If you're willing to accept lower, I'd go lower. You want to leave room.
Okay.
If it's towards the end, then if you can support it, if you can back it up.
Okay.
Always remember, this is a business decision. We know this, but sometimes we forget it. We're in the heart of it. I can't tell you how many times during a negotiation, whether it's my company, a client company, or whether I'm practicing with a client for a negotiation, I can't possibly take less than this because, I've got to make my house payment. This is going to sound terrible. It's going to sound cruel. I don't care about your house payment. I care about my business.
Right, I agree with you. So in this number game, so you want me to mention as a 125 is a lower one, and go for interview and clear, come to the last stage. Then during the negotiation, you ask for at least 175 range. Is that
Can you
okay?
back it up? Yeah, if you can back it up. I know we started at 125, but let me show you all the reasons you're going to be happy to pay me 175.
Okay, so the last minute we can justify with all the data as well as experience, certification,
Absolutely.
achievements.
Yep. Well, through the course of our conversation, I learned that you're looking for these additional things that I could absolutely bring to the table.
See, the another dimension is that you are desperately looking for a job, and moreover, you're more than 8 months or a year in the job market. You don't have a job. They know very well. So we there itself we lose our the great negotiation power with the HR.
You do
So
lose some. Mhm.
so that is
Because
why I'm wondering, for example, this category, if you are in a job or you have another offer in hand, going for negotiation is a totally different scenario than you are jobless and you're going for negotiation. They know very well, right? So, how do you handle this situation? You are jobless for 1 year and then great deal to negotiate.
Well, unfortunately, you probably are going to have to be prepared to negotiate a little bit lower, but you should still negotiate. You should also expect them to come start lower on their negotiation because anything is better than nothing, right? And they know you're at nothing right now. You have to know you have less negotiating power. But again,
Uh-huh.
if you can back it up, if you can
Okay.
say, let me tell you what I'm bringing to the table, let me tell you what I'm going to do. Oh, by the way, at my last company,
Okay.
I was able to find, $300,000 in the first 3 months because I'm so good
Uh-huh.
at the forensic accounting. And so I paid my salary for 3 years on that. So yeah, you should pay me this much. That's going to
Okay.
come out a lot differently than, well, but I'm worth it. And I have a car payment and a mortgage and I stay at home spouse. And so I can't possibly work for less than, right? And again, I know that's cruel and that sounds terrible, but this is a business decision.
Okay, it's a kind of a comparative strategy to justify with what you need, kind of thing. Then
Exactly.
if they are very much firm on the negotiation but number, then you are desperately need accept that number on the one side, then other side and negotiate something like the give me the career growth certification and something like education or remote something like other side and non-monetary benefit related
Mm-hmm.
side of negotiate it, try to get it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so until you survive up to some extent, then once gear up a market, then you can play around the better position, right?
Just remember that once you're in, that's where you're at.
Right, right. No,
So
so at least 1 or 2 years you've been survive with it, the position comfortable, uh, possibly whatever you negotiated. Go with, then the latter part of time think about it to go your real dream job and a real position, something like that. Because now in the job market, we cannot say no, and in our current position as well, right?
well,
So,
and that's where you do what's best for your company or for your family. If you feel like you have to take an offer that you're not happy with,
uh-huh,
again, you have to do what's right for your family. Then maybe you do continue to look and then you've got more
uh,
negotiating power on the next conversation. That's not really what we want to do. We don't want to take a job in bad faith. It's not good for you. It's not good for the company. It's not good for
okay.
the look. But the reality is there's no guarantees, right? You can take the best job ever for the best pay ever and 6 months in go, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not staying. So
Okay, okay. Yeah, culture also matters. Work-life balance also matters.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So something like that. Yeah,
So
you can.
any other questions around that?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good. Okay. Other things to consider, and I think we've really touched on all of it. Do y'all know the difference between tangible benefits and intangible benefits? These are the things we don't think about. Tangible benefits are easy, right? Are you paying 100% of my medical or 0% of my medical? That could be $1,000 or more a month, right? What about intangible? That's the flexibility. That's you're an adult, do what you want, to get the job done versus it's 9:05. Why aren't you at your desk pounding away yet? It's, the nice office, it's the shorter drive, it's the things that don't have a real dollar value associated, but are important to you. So again, step back from thinking about just traditional benefits and think, if I could create the perfect job, what does it include? And understand that most of the time when we're thinking these things out, it's not about what we're doing. I can't tell you how often I'm working with a client who says, I just need to change. Now, people change careers on average 3 times. So that's okay. But sometimes when we sit down and really dig into it, we've figured out that they're really just in the wrong company, right? They're burnt out because they're not happy where they're at. So think about those non-negotiables, the culture, the benefits, they let me leave at 4 o'clock every Tuesday to go coach my kid's soccer match, right? What's important to you right now, today? And know that that's going to change throughout the years. Things to consider. We just talked about this. Are you currently working? If you're not, and the attitudes have changed over the years. It used to be, oh my gosh, there must be something wrong with you if you don't have a job. Because let's face it, you're at a job, 3 days later, you had another one. That's just the way it was when I entered the job market. There was no excuse for not having a job. But that's just not the reality today. It's not unusual to be out of work. Do y'all know what the typical job search time is according to the Department of Labor right now? What do y'all think it is? 10 months?
8 months.
8 months. It's 5 to 6. But you have to understand that's all the way from entry level. That's restaurant workers that can no show at work and walk next door and have a job tomorrow, all the way up through C-suite. 5 to 6 months. That's the average. Okay. That's people doing it right, and that's people not doing it right. It's just not the same. But you don't have as much negotiation power when you're not working because, 80 grand is better than nothing, even if 80 grand is the absolute rock bottom of what you should be offered. How close a fit are you? Are you exactly what they were looking for, or are you 50% of what they were looking for? That matters. Are they pursuing you, or are you pursuing them? The health of the industry and the company. Sometimes we forget this. And I like to pick on oil and gas here. It's not as prevalent here as it is in Houston and Oklahoma. But I see up and down, up and down, up and down. Right? When it's at its peak and they're begging for people, you've got a lot more negotiation power than when half of your peers all just got laid off at the same time and you were one of them and there's one job opening and 30 of y'all looking, right? It's just the reality of it. And for the most part, we know what's going on in our industries. So can they afford to negotiate? Are they bringing you in at the top end? Did they make you the best offer they could? What do the benefits look like? And I said this already. Are they chasing you? Or are you chasing them? I've been trying to get a job with Raytheon for the last 10 years, and they finally called me. I'm probably going to negotiate a lot less than if I had a great job that I was happy at, and they've been chasing me for 6 months, right? So basically, as hard as it is, we've got to remove emotion from the conversation, and we've got to look at it rationally and logically. What makes sense? That's hard to do because it's our livelihood. All right. I would like to take a step back here and talk about counteroffers. We're working. We negotiated this great new offer. We went to go put our notice in, and our current boss said, what'll it take to make you stay? What do y'all think the right answer is here? Don't take it. Don't take it.
Never in a million years take it.
Never in a million years take it. Maybe not never in a million years, but generally speaking, the first question you need to ask yourself is, why was I looking? Because usually, if it was money, hopefully you've already asked them for a raise and they've said no. Right? And if you haven't, the failing's on you, and it means you are not communicating well and you need to work on that. However, even if it is on you, the trust is probably broken. It's ridiculous. Again, it's a business decision, but we're dealing with people. But usually it's not money. Usually it's my boss is a jerk Their expectations are unrealistic. Things have changed. And I'm just generally not happy here. And money is not going to fix that. So if you are considering staying, make sure that you have had that conversation and those other things are going to get fixed. And I agree. Generally speaking, no to a counter offer is the right thing to do. I have seen it work before. This is just something we don't think about until it's too late. So I just want that in everybody's head, that just think it through. Make sure you're very, very clear on what got you starting to look and if that's going to be resolved with the counter offer. Promotions. We're negotiating a promotion or a raise. Okay. This works exactly the same way as everything we just discussed, except it's easier because the relationship is already there. You're already valued. And you should be able to take specific examples of what you've done to be worth more money. Well, yeah, I absolutely think I've earned a raise. I've been here for a year. I've excelled at my job. I've gotten all high ratings. And oh, by the way, remember that project that saved us all this money 6 months ago? This is why I deserve a raise, right? It's way easier. And yet somehow emotionally, it's so much harder for most of us for some reason. Now, what if they say no? This is a little bit easier too, right? If it's a job negotiation and they say no, you've pretty much just got to take what they're going to offer. If it's a raise or a promotion negotiation, now you get to say, but tell me, okay, but tell me what it'll take to get there. And you get to lay out a plan of action to get you that promotion or raise. And if they can't do that, that right there tells you everything you need to know, right? That you're going to be happy where you're at, or it's time to start looking for something else. But very often, if we just ask, why not? They'll say you're missing X, Y, and Z. Great, let's lay out a plan to get me that so the next time this position comes open, or so we can sit down and have this conversation again in, let's say, 3 months, and I'll have done these things and we can talk about a raise. Okay. Good leaders, yes, should have these lines of communication open. They should be watching this for us and initiating these conversations. But A, we don't always train up good leaders. And B, in today's work world, good leaders are torn in so many directions. This is important to you, not them. And so we have to take control of that ourselves. Do I have an online question?
I have a quick check.
Yeah.
So for the leadership role, something like a senior manager, director kind of a role, how often you can switch the companies without hurting your career or profile, something like for the career growth of an individual?
So that number's changing. How often can we change roles? That number's changing. I mean, 30 years ago, you were going to be in a role for 5 years before you can think about a promotion or, a change we were job hoppers. I remember quitting a job at 7 years and somebody going, you're going to be looked at as job hopper. Really? Nowadays, they're like, you stayed there 7 years? But in senior roles, this is an opinion. It's not a fact, but I'd say in senior roles, you need to be there 18 months to 2 years to really get your arms around the role.
Okay. 2 years in the role, right? Because I have a similar scenario. One of my colleague, he was a senior manager and director level, but last 10 years he used to switch between every 2 to 3 years, jump on companies and keep applying. But he has a good now senior level director, sales, getting a good numbers as well. So he suggested the strategy as well.
Well, and it's okay to do that from time to time, right? Oh, I stepped into this role, I got in here, things were not as advertised.
Okay.
6 months, I'm moving on. It's okay to do that. You do it once, nobody's gonna question it. It was a bad call. You do it 5 times in a row, people are gonna start going, wait.
Actually, in my earlier career, I did once in a year or 1.5 years once. I went to one of the corporate company. They called me for interview and saw resume was good. And he upfront, he said that your experience and everything good, certification nice. But you switched around that 10 years, 7, 8 companies or something like that, 7 companies like that. So I may not hire you, however, I'll take interview. Then I attended the interview, I came out. They said,
I know a lot of hiring managers who look at that. How long have you been there? You know, and so again, one, especially if it's older, a lot, it's gonna play a part of the decision making. So, Kathy.
yeah, that is was India, not in US. Yeah.
Oh, well, here too, here too.
Okay. Thank you.
Kathy, you had a question?
I did. When you said changes careers 3 times, did you mean jobs or roles?
Careers. And our younger folks are doing it even more. Yeah.
Can you give me an example of changing careers?
Going from sales to operations to accounting.
Okay, I get it. Thank
That's
you.
maybe not the best because I don't know anybody to go from sales to accounting, but
Okay, I get it now. Thanks.
absolutely. Michelle.
Yes. Me, I'm normally one that closes down companies, and I kind of like hate saying that because especially because it's hard to verify my references in the past. But this last company did lay me off, but I am in the process of getting considered for a rehire because they have unfroze their lock on jobs. So, but it's just like companies closed under me. That's scary. Even ADT closed under me.
I would
like,
probably not share that in an interview.
So it's like, yeah, just don't hire me if you're going to close your company on me.
And that's really, so that's what happens, right? Our roles go away and we go, oh, well, this is kind of fun too, right? Maybe I could do this too. Oh, and I'm being cut off. So I think I'm done. I think that's it. Know where you stand. Always ask the company for their range. Know your leverage. Know when not to negotiate. Oh, and always if you negotiate something non-traditional, always get it in writing.
You see, Kathy, also, I'm like you. I started out as assembly line into inventory control, reconciling inventory with 40 plus branches. Then I decided, well, I don't want to be one of these older people on the dock in the cold. So I went and got an accounting. But yeah, I've been doing some career changes. Now I'm doing medical billing. I'm moving into. So.
Jeff.
I know the answer. What I would say is, but the question is, who should you be negotiating with? HR, a hiring manager, or somebody in between?
A lot of it's going to depend on the company structure, but if you've got any control over it, you really want to negotiate with the person who you're going to be working with because they're the one that's going to go to bat with you. That's a perfect question, Jeff. Thank you. You want to, but HR's maybe who they send you to because they're the ones that do all the heavy lifting, but they're the ones that are going to come back and go, we got to find that extra $5,000 for this guy because they're the ones that want you. So, yes, sir.
With the pay rate. If they post the pay rate, do you feel
they post the pay range?
Oh.
Do you feel like they could still be willing to negotiate over the top end of their pay range?
I'm going to say believe them when they say that. There are definitely exceptions. I gave you an example of one, but those are going to be very, very few and far between. If that pay range doesn't work for you, believe them.
Okay, the initial, so they posted 1 to 120, most likely their very top dollar is that 120.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, and then I'm just curious on your expertise. One stat that you see out there quite a bit is that they did, like you said, the majority of them expect to negotiate. The number I saw was that the majority of the time they're willing to negotiate 10% more than what their initial offer is. Have you seen anything on that?
Yes, but I've also seen numbers that go against that. So I would walk in ready to tell them why you deserve what you're willing to ask for, whether it's 3% more or 30% more, and be ready to have the conversation.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
This is Marshall. Just one super fast comment on the ranges. I do remember I worked for a company a long time ago, and it's very hard on the outside of the company to get this information. A lot of times the ranges are based on what they call quattros. So I may have a supply chain position, 0 to 5 years experience is this range, 6 to 10 years is this range, and above is this range. And sometimes they're locked into quattros. If you can figure out what years of experience that offer is at, sometimes you can get above it. They're saying this offers for somebody 0 to 5 years is what we put on LinkedIn. You're coming in with 7. Sometimes you can, but the danger there is every HR person I've ever known keeps that information close to their chest. It's extremely hard outside the company to find out what those quattros are.
It's getting a little bit easier, but we've got a long way to go for pay transparency. Yeah.
Krystal, what's your opinion on AI negotiations?
I haven't used any yet.
Repeat the question.
Oh, yes, that's probably a good idea.
What's your opinion of the AI negotiation tools that came up on the tip of the week?
I have not used AI negotiation tools. I have used AI for finding ranges and found it relatively useful. I have not played with any of the negotiation. I think AI is overall what I have, the job scans, if you remember AI is a tool and not a complete solution, I think you're going to find it can work for you. Just don't lean on it for 100% for your needs. That's my opinion for what it's worth. Anything else? All right, I apologize. I think, oh, go ahead.
We talked about pay ranges, but what about when they just say one number? Hey, it's $100,000. From your expertise, do you feel like that's, again, something that you can negotiate? They're expecting to negotiate above that number.
Probably not significantly, but yes.
The question was, what if they just give you one number? How do you handle that?
And the answer is there's probably a little bit of negotiation room on that, but not a significant amount. Good. All right. Thank you, guys.
Well done. Well done.
Hey, Walter, Matt, can Krystal put up that last slide that had all her contact information?
Just hit the
That
other way.
All the way.
Way. One more. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. So thank you very much, Krystal, for sharing that kind of information. Now, I have a document, it's not certified by Krystal. I probably ought to send it to her, but it's a way of monetizing benefits and salary and putting all that together and taking a look at what's important to you and prioritizing and all that sort of thing from the financial aspect of things. I'll be with you in a minute, William. And so, I'm gonna send that document to you, Krystal, and let you take a look at it and see if I'm in the ballpark, of those kinds of things.
Tell what your last company paid on your benefits when you're at W-2. I'll know that.
Yeah. So your W-2 would also show the taxable benefits in your income. Okay, William,
Yes, I have 3 announcements.
can I hang on to those till just the end?
Okay,
Okay,
that's fine.
we'll run through this right quick. We'll get to that. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So let me go through a couple of administrative things and other things to kind of help you out through this. We mentioned the koreaw.org website. One of the features of that, of the many, is a calendar. So if you look at the calendar view, once you go to that website and you click on the calendar, you'll see other things that are going on, particularly in the DFW area, but a lot of them now are including Zoom, so that you can participate from anywhere that you can get on the internet. And you can see what's happening and what other services. There are tons of free services in the DFW area for helping you with job search over all the different topics and part of it. So if you click, there's a graphical view. And if you click on the agenda view, you can say, here's what's going to happen. You can click on any particular item. It'll open up that item and it gives you details, tells you information. Usually there's a link for more information or a contact you can use to contact that. One of my networking tips is to network with the leaders of these groups. They're out there helping us. They are the chief helpers that you can find. And so they can point you in directions and give you some suggestions, on whatever topic that you might have. Now, if you go to the Career USA channel on YouTube, you can view the playlists that are out there. So Jeff has recorded many, all right, many recordings since COVID started. And a couple of months after that, he started recording a bunch of things and he put them in different categories. And so you can see these videos. In fact, this session video will be posted to one of them. And in fact, it's the one at the bottom. It's the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. You want to click on the word playlist. If you click on the icon, you'll start getting a video. So click on that playlist. And then you'll see a multiple number of those that are generally put in calendar order, most recent at the top. And you can do a search inside of this to look at names and things like that you can find. So it's a Control F, I think is the term for anyway, doing that. And then you can go view those videos, okay? And so they are available to us and this will be out there as well. What's coming up? Well, next Tuesday is the LinkedIn Tuesday. Now, when COVID came along, Jeff put together 4 sessions a week from 1 to about 3 o'clock. Tuesdays with LinkedIn, Wednesday was interviewing, Thursdays was a trade-off between resumes and networking, and then Friday was this group. So next week on Tuesday, that's at 1. It's going to be probably a little bit longer than 2:15. But it's LinkedIn from a Recruiter's Eyes with Kurt Von der Mutter. Jeff, we are so glad to have you back as the host of that particular group in that session. And so on LinkedIn Tuesdays, you will be hosted by Jeff. We have a round robin of speakers that speak about LinkedIn from different perspectives. And so suggest that you take a look at that. Wednesday, we talked about the pit crew. So we would love for you to come participate or observe as a member, into the pit crew process and the practice interview team. So it's in person next week. And then of course, next Friday, I'm going to speak about how to sell ourselves in job interviews. So a presentation on that. And in addition to that, the following Friday, we're going to talk with Jim McConnell about navigating security and avoiding scams. A pretty interesting conversation and presentation that he has on that. And then as of the first Friday of the month in March, we'll have the open forum. So you can have job search questions and we can all help each other in the different areas of job search. So those are coming up. Today, we're going to have lunch afterwards. For those of you that want to participate, it's going to be at Country Burger. It's at the northwest corner of Parker and Independence, just a little bit ways down the street. So be glad to have you come to lunch with us. Nobody successfully did the EBR definition, so I don't have to buy anybody's lunch today. Okay, William, what is it?
Yes, I have 3 announcements.
All right.
So first, I wanted to, since we mentioned the Career USA YouTube channel earlier, wanted to remind people that don't have target companies to go on that YouTube channel and watch the video where Pete Hernandez and Mike Ray talk about reference solutions. That's a tool you can use to help you find target companies. Can learn all about that in that particular video. And second, I wanted to remind everybody that There's a YouTube channel out there called A Life After Layoff, which can help you answer some of the topics we covered. There's videos about all sorts of topics that are job search related. And of course, we just mentioned about looking for things that could potentially be fake job postings. There's a video on that channel about that. That's one video I definitely recommend that everybody watch. It's on that channel, is the one about how to spot fake job postings. And finally, I wanted to talk about the happy hour that's coming up, the Association of Business and Technology Professionals. It's taking place not this coming Tuesday, but the next Tuesday, February 25th. It will be at Bobby's Social House, located at Frankfurt and the Dallas North Tollway. So it'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. that evening. Again, that'll be on February. Again, that takes place on February the 25th. Just to sign up for that, make sure you go to abtpdfw.org. Again, it's abtpdfw.org. Click on the events tab. You'll find a link to sign up for that. That's a wrap for my announcements. Thank you very much.
Thanks, William. Appreciate that. So would you like to receive today's materials? Are you interested in doing it? Well, how do you do that? We provide an email, i.e. that's Matt, provides an email to all the people that are participants. And so where do we get the information? We're going to give you the speaker's presentation, so you'll get that. You'll get the YouTube, LinkedIn recording link so that you can come watch this session again. You get a copy of the career tip of the week. So that's going to be the detailed information that Rosina gave us a summary of, and a copy of the Zoom chat. There's a lot of information that people are putting in the chat that you can't see, perhaps because you're here in person. There's some tips and other things that are not discussed. And so I would strongly suggest you take a look at the chat. So to ensure that you get this, we need your email address. So if you're in person, and we can read your email address on the sign-in sheet. And for those of you that put the email address into the chat window, that's the mailing list that we will use to get that information out to you. All right. So thanks a lot for joining us today. If you're not on the Career USA mailing list to get some of this information, there's a QR code on the right to say, here is a request to join that group. Be glad to have you participate in that. Then you'll get some of this information out. And just to note that this group is a 501(c). Is it? Yeah, 503. It's not a 501(c). 501(c) organization. There's nobody that really gets paid. Everybody's a volunteer that works with this. And so if you'd like to donate to this cause, we suggest you get hired and then you can donate, all right? And if you'd like to donate to this and help, there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So see you next week. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.